You're watching live right now the funeral for fallen Kansas City, Kansas police officer Hunter Simoncic. And if this looks like a familiar scene, unfortunately, this is the second one of these we've brought to you live here on our air in a month's time. Lindsay, you and I were sitting here doing the exact same thing. That was for fallen Wyandotte County Deputy Elijah Ming's funeral.
And what an awful heartache for this community. And there's going to be so many things we see today that are tragically, beautifully similar in this ceremony. And then, of course, there's going to be so many personal moments that are individual to Officer Hunter Simoncic, 26 years old, lost during a police chase a week ago.
I think one of the things that we've learned about him since then, too, that has truly endeared him even further to this community is not only how bravely he served his department, but in his own time, his work with children, reading to kids at a local elementary school that, you know, truly exemplified someone with a heart to serve in multiple ways.
We had a look at the program earlier today. We're going to be kind of guiding you through that, and then we're going to be here with you afterward. This is supposed to begin any moment now, and then a half hour after that, there will be a procession that goes through Kansas City, Kansas, driving past the police department and then making its way back, and we'll be with you throughout.
We do have crews stationed along the way, and as we have seen in these instances, again, as recently as just within the past month, people from the community coming out to pay their respects, lining the route, and it is something that hopefully brings comfort to the fallen officer's family, to fellow law enforcement officers. And so we will be visiting with crews along the route to hear the stories they're hearing from many of you. And why you chose to come out today. Again, you can see people are filing in slowly, taking their seats. His casket already brought in, going through the typical ceremony. We saw what looked like perhaps maybe his parents at the front of the line, sitting in the front row, numerous officers. And again, we just can't stress this enough, how hard this is hitting the Kansas City, Kansas and Wyandotte community after they just lost Deputy Ming so recently. And so here they are attending another one of these.
And we know we saw dozens of law enforcement agencies from the surrounding areas at Deputy Ming's funeral. We expect to see the same today. And you can see the crowd, how full the stands are at Children's Mercy Park, which has unfortunately become the backdrop for the community to mourn these officers and deputies lost, and also honor their lives and take some time and let the rest of us get little insights to the life they lived and how much we all wish we could have met them. We want to get now to one of our reporters who is surrounding the area. Let's get to Rachel Henderson.
Hi, yes, so we are here right now at Children's Mercy Park. Things are just starting to get underway here. I'm whispering right now because it's a very quiet scene here. We've got several officers filing in, and like you all mentioned, there's officers from all around Kansas and Missouri, and it is eerily similar to a scene like you all mentioned that we saw less than a month ago for Deputy Ming, but it's important to see just how many officers showed up for Officer Simoncic because they have each other's backs. I know that that's something that we've heard a lot over these past couple days, but the stands are incredibly full. And it is a unique experience because Officer Simoncic had his own life and his own service that he did. So things just got underway here. We heard musical selection earlier. So everyone's just now starting to file in, but we've got other officers. We also have unified government employees, and unfortunately, it's also unfortunate to see some of the same faces at some of these, right? Like, we're not the only people who are going through this more than once, so our hearts are certainly with the family, but I'll send it back to you all for now.
Rachel, I wanted to ask you about that. Rachel covers Wyandotte County for us, and she was in front of the government building for Deputy Ming's funeral, and she realized that the father of a paramedic killed in the line of duty, Graham Hoffman, was at Deputy Ming's procession just to show support, holding an American flag. And Rachel, we're talking about the Wyandotte County community being so impacted by these two losses so close together, but this just clearly goes beyond Wyandotte County and KCK too.
100%. That's actually something that someone I spoke with yesterday mentioned they put a call out to the leaders in the community to get together and help inform the community about what officers do. And they also had a message that it's not just Wyandotte County. Unfortunately, we're seeing incidents of violence like this all across the country. This just happens to be our localized example of that, but I think something else that you can walk away from is seeing how they band together during this time. Not only is the law enforcement leaning on each other, but just the crowd that's here, I think, is a testament to how the community wants to support and move forward in the best way possible.
Rachel, thank you.
Absolutely, Rachel. And yeah, talking about how this really hits home for so many in the community, not only Deputy Ming, but keep in mind, we've had a number of these over the past 5, 6, 7 years. And so other surrounding communities, whether it's Overland Park, whether it's Independence, North Kansas City, Kansas City, so many law enforcement agencies in our viewing area have lost members in the line of duty. And so today is a painful reminder of the dangers they face every day, a reminder of the losses that they've experienced, a huge presence, obviously, from the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department today. And as we know in the past, typically other agencies in the area will step up and will send officers to cover their shifts so that they can attend these funerals, these services. And so that's one thing they don't have to worry about today. So we can only imagine this is just kind of protocol that other agencies have stepped up and are filling in for these men and women so that they can be here today.
And did you hear that siren go by? Just a reminder that there's still a community to serve that's still going to need a law enforcement presence even while they are mourning one of their own. And one of the most profound things when we lost Officer Simoncic and we heard from the mayor is that there are still officers that had not returned to work from the loss of Deputy Ming because it was with a KCK police officer on that call, the trauma that they go through and that they are still mourning the loss of one when they lost another.
Yeah, I talked to the wife of a sheriff's deputy with Wyandotte County who had said that they have offered counseling and that many of those deputies have taken them up on that her husband had worked closely with Deputy Ming and was friends with Deputy Ming, and that was a loss that hit him hard. And again, we can't speak to this perspective because we're not in their shoes, but you would think that, seeing someone that they've worked with day to day is a reminder of their own mortality and just the mix of emotions, not only loss, but the reminder of what they risk every day. And not just for those law enforcement officers, but for their families as well. The wives, the husbands, boyfriends, girlfriends, mothers, fathers, children. Truly, I mean, this is something that many in our community are feeling deeply again today.
This morning, Marlon Martinez, our reporter, went out to Strawberry Hill to talk to the folks in the neighborhood there. They're going to be tying and have been tying blue ribbons around. So if you see blue ribbons, if you're out and about in KCK, that is in honor of Officer Hunter Simoncic, and how there are multiple members of the department that live in Strawberry Hill. And to take a moment, we learn about our officers and law enforcement when something awful like this happens, when we lose them, but to take some time and get to know members of our law enforcement before something like this happens, while they're serving their community, while they're out and about in our neighborhoods.
And I know Lindsay and I have mentioned this in the past when we've covered these funerals, but unfortunately we've had to do this quite a bit. And so we've talked to members of law enforcement afterward to check in on them, to share their stories. And so many of them have said that it truly makes them feel better if you see a member in law enforcement out in the community, just to tell them thank you for what you do. We are sorry for your loss. Even if it's not in Kansas City, Kansas, these officers, they feel it as one of their own because it's a wide-reaching community.
Absolutely. And I'm sure you've noticed around town, if you've seen a law enforcement officer, they may have had a strip of black over their badge. I've seen people on the Missouri side, different communities wearing that right now as well. Look how many people.
Wow. Weather at least holding out. I know that things could get more interesting later today, but what a gift to have the sun out today so that people who want to be there and pay their respects in person can do so, not only at the funeral, but again, lining the route. And as always, if you want more information on the route that they will be taking, go to our website, kshb.com. The funeral could last anywhere from an hour to longer. If you want to stay with us on air, check in periodically. Once that procession gets started, we will cover that. But if you live along that route or you're nearby, or even if you want to make the drive, we encourage you to do so to help pay your respects and lift up the spirits of some of those other officers who will be part of the procession.
And we have heard what a difference, what an impact that makes on the folks in the procession to see everyone along that route and other members of law enforcement and kids, families, even if they're not from here, if they're in the area, because you know the Legends area often has a lot of folks here from out of town who may just be wanting to pay their respects to a fallen officer.
Yeah, you see the signs there in the stadium, not only that picture that we're focused on right now, but other banners there in the stadium recognizing Hunter Simoncic, a handsome young man gone far too soon.